For this project, any category 4 yarn will do, but here's what I used. A skein of Caron 1 pound in soft pink, another in rose, and Red Heart Super Saver in white. The rose and white are used as accent colors, so long as you have a half a skein, you should be fine. As for tools, a 5mm hook, an optional 7mm hook, scissors, stitch markers, and a tape measure. We're using 4 stitches for this project, and they will be as followed: chain, double crochet, slip stitch, and single crochet. This tutorial is for a size small, but you can adjust it for your size, and we explain how to in the video, so let's get started. To start off this sweater, we're first going to grab our category 4 yarn, make a slip knot, and we're going to make a chain that comes out to the measurement of the neck hole that we want. Mine will be a little wider, so I'm going to make a chain of 36 inches or 91 centimeters. We now have our chain, and the next thing we're going to do is actually connect it to the first chain that we made in order to make a circle. So what we're going to do is run our thumb along one side of the chain just to make sure that it's not twisted, so that our next row is a lot easier to do. I'm just going to run our thumb all the way down. And then when we have that, we're going to insert our hook into that first chain that we made. And we're going to do a slip stitch. So we're going to we're just going to yarn over and then pull through everything that's on the hook. And now we have our circle. And then what we're going to do from here is a row of double crochet with an increase into every third. So we're going to first chain up 3, this counts as a double crochet, and then into this first loop that we have, we're going to put 2 double crochet. We're going to prepare for a double crochet and go into this first loop with 1, and then prepare for another double crochet, go into that same loop with another, and then that is our increase. And then into the next 2 loops that we have, we're going to go in with 1 double crochet. So prepare for a double crochet. We're putting just 1 into this next loop. We're going to prepare for another double crochet, put 1 into the loop after that. And then now that we're at our 3rd loop, we're going to go in with another double crochet increase. So prepare for a double crochet, insert, prepare for a double crochet, go into that same loop because this is our increase. And this is what we should have. Let's do this again one more time. Since we're right after the loop that just had our increase, we're going to prepare for a double crochet just once into that next loop, prepare into the loop after that with a double crochet, and now we're ready to do another increase. So prepare for a double crochet, 1 double crochet into the next loop, prepare, 1 double crochet into the loop after that. So we're having an increase, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, increase. And we're going to continue along with that pattern all the way around. And then so we get to the end, we're going to connect into this first chain up of 3 with a slip stitch, but I'll meet you guys back so we can do that together. We have just made our way all the way across with our row of double crochet increase, but increasing into every third. And what we're going to do now is connect it into this first chain 3 with a slip stitch, but I will also be switching out my colors. And if you guys are not, go ahead and just do a regular slip stitch. But if you guys are, let's do this together. So we're going to count up 1, 2, 3, insert your hook into that 3rd chain. We're going to yarn over, pull through just 1 loop, and then from here we're going to attach our 2nd color and then pull through everything. And then once we have that, we can cut our original color. And then we're going to tie the tail ends together. And then once we have that, everything is nice and attached. And then from here, we're just going to go in with a row of thicker net. So all that is chain up of 3 first. 1, 2, 3. This counts as a double crochet. Once we get here, we're going to prepare for a double crochet, insert our hook into the same loop that we are in with a double crochet, pull through, and that is our first set of thicker net. And then from here, we're going to chain up of 1, prepare for a double crochet, and we're going to count out 3 loops. Here's 1, 2, 3. Insert your hook into that 3rd, and we're going to go into that 3rd loop with 2 double crochet. So there's 1, prepare, go into that same loop with another double crochet. Let's do this again together. We're going to chain out 1, prepare for a double crochet. We're going to count out 3 loops. 1, 2, 3. Insert your hook into that third with a double crochet, and then prepare for a double crochet. Go into that same loop with another double crochet, and we're going to keep doing this all the way around. We just made our way around with our row of thicker net, and now we're going to connect it with a slip stitch. And also I'm going to be switching out my colors. If you guys are not, go ahead and just go in with a slip stitch like I said earlier, but we're going to connect it into this first chain of 3. So we're going to count up 1, 2, 3. We're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, and then once we have that, we're going to grab our next color, insert that onto our hook, and then pull this through everything. Then we're going to cut our first color and tie the 2 tail ends together. And we are ready to go and start the next row. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to start doing a little bit of an expansion just so that it can increase a little bit. So what we're going to do is start off with a chain out of 5. 1, 2, 3. The first 3 count as a double crochet. Chain out an extra 2, so 5 in total. And from here we're going to prepare for a double crochet, and then we're just going to be going into each of these gaps that we made for ourselves in between our thicker net loops. So once we have this, we're going to prepare for a double crochet like I said. We're going to go into this first gap with a double crochet. And this is our first net. Let's do this again a couple more times. We're going to chain out 2, prepare for a double crochet into this next gap, put 1 double crochet. One more time, we're going to chain out 2, prepare for a double crochet into this next gap, 1 double crochet. And then we're going to keep doing this all the way around. We're going to connect with a slip stitch into this third loop once we get all the way around, and then we're going to start our next row with our next color, but I'll meet you guys back before we get all of that started. We are all the way around with our row of net, and like I said, we're going to connect it with a slip stitch and then also switch out our colors again. So from here we're going to count up 3 into this first chain 5 that we did. 1, 2, 3. Insert our hook into that third, yarn over, pull through. We're going to grab our next color, insert that onto our yarn, and pull through everything. And then once we have that, we're going to cut the original color, and then tie the 2 tail ends together, and then we're ready to start up the next row. And then once when we get here, we're going to go in with the row of single crochet and shell, and we're going to be going into each of these gaps that we just made for ourselves. So into this first gap that we have right next to our hook, we're going to go in with 1 single crochet, and then once we have that, we're going to do a shell into this next gap. So we're going to prepare for a double crochet. We're going to go in with 3 double crochet all into that same gap. So there's 1, 2, 3. Once we have the first half of our shell, we're going to chain out 2, prepare for a double crochet, and then go into that same gap with another 3 double crochet just to close off this shell. So here's 1, 2, and then 3. And then into this gap that we have right after our shell that we just made, we're going to go in with 1 single crochet. So this is what we should have: a single crochet into the first gap, shell, single crochet. Let's do all of this together one more time. Into this next gap, we're going to prepare for a double crochet and put in a shell. So all that is 3 double crochet. There's 2, there's 3 double crochet, chain 2, prepare for a double crochet, and then 3 more double crochet into the same gap. So there's 1-ish, 2, and then 3. And then into the gap that we have after this, a single crochet. And we are going to keep doing this pattern all the way around, and then once we get to the end, I will show you guys how to connect it. We have made our way all the way across with our first row of single crochet shell, single crochet shell, and now we're going to switch out our colors again and then start up our next row. So we're going to insert our hook into this first single crochet, yarn over, pull through, insert our new color yarn, pull through, cut the original, and then tie the 2 tail ends together. And now we're ready to start up with our next row. So once we get here, since we're already into our first single crochet loop, what we're going to do is chain up 3, This counts as a double crochet. From here we're going to prepare for a double crochet, and then we're going to insert our double crochet into this shell gap that we made for ourselves, and we're going to be going in with another shell. So we're going to insert our hook into this first gap with 3 double crochet. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to do another shell. So like before, we're going to chain out 2, prepare for a double crochet, and then into the same shell gap, putting another set of 3 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then once we have that, we are going to prepare for a double crochet. And in the previous row, we obviously have this single crochet in between our shells. So in this single crochet loop, we're going to be putting a double crochet. So we're already prepared for a double crochet. We're going to insert our hook into that single crochet loop with 1 double crochet, just like that. We're going to do this again together. So prepare for a double crochet. Into this next shell gap, we're going to be putting another shell. So 3 double crochet, chain 2, and then into the same gap, 3 more double crochet. There's 1, 2, 3, all into that same gap. And then once we have that, we are going to prepare for a double crochet. And then as you guys can see, this is our single crochet in the previous row. So we're going to insert our hook into that loop with 1 double crochet. And then we're going to keep doing this all the way around. We will meet back together so that we can connect it and then switch out our colors if you guys are switching out your colors. And then we're going to do the rest of the rows after that. We are all finished up with our second row of shells. So what we're going to do is connect it just like how we've been connecting. We'll do this a couple more times together, where we're going to count up 1, 2, 3, because our first double crochet was a chain up of 3. Insert our hook. We're going to yarn over just through 1 loop. Grab our next color, insert that onto our hook, and just pull through everything. And then cut the original, and then tie the 2 tail ends together. And now that we have everything all gussied up for us, now we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to start increasing so that this can expand over your chest. So in the previous row, we did a chain up of 3, so we're going to do another chain up of 3. 1, 2, 3. This always counts as a double crochet. And then we're going to do a chain up of 1, so we're going to have a total of 4. And once we have that, we're going to prepare for a double crochet. Into this shell gap, put another shell. So you guys already know what it is. We have 3 double crochet into that shell gap, chain 2, prepare for a double crochet, and then put 3 more double crochet into that same gap that we were just in to finish off this shell. And 3. And then once we have this is where we're going to start increasing or expanding, whatever you guys want to call it. So once when we get here, we're going to do a chain out of 1 and then prepare for a double crochet. Insert our double crochet into this double crochet loop that we have in the previous row. And then once we have that, chain 1 and then put a shell into this next shell. So for this row, we're doing just a chain 1 in between everything. And then for the row after this, we're going to do a chain 2. Row after that, chain 3, but we'll meet each other back so that we can get the gist of it, and then we'll have at it ourselves. But I'm all done with this next shell, so we're just going to do this next double crochet together, and then we'll do the rest from there. So we're going to chain out 1 once we have this next shell, prepare for a double crochet into this next double crochet loop. We're going to chain out another 1 and then do another shell into the next shell. And so basically it's the same pattern, just with a chain 1 in between everything. And I'll meet you guys back when we make our way to the end, and then we will connect, switch our colors, and then continue expanding from there. We just finished up doing our third row of shells, and we're going to connect, switch out our colors, and then we will speak a little bit about the next few rows that we will be doing. So we're going to count up 3, just like how we've always been doing. Yarn over, pull through the first loop. Going to lay our yarn over the hook, pull through everything, cut the original, and then tie the 2 tail ends. So this is what I currently have. From one end all the way down to the bottom of a shell, I have 4 inches or 10 centimeters. And then this is actually the length that I need because these ends reach the tip of my shoulders. But if you guys need to keep going, I will show you guys how to do that right now. So really quickly, if you guys need to continue to expand this piece, this is what we're going to do. We're going to chain up 3. This counts as a double crochet. And then since in the previous row we have a chain 1 in between, like I said before, we're going to start expanding. So we're going to add 2 chains. So we're going to have a total of 5 chains for this first bit. And then once we have that, we're going to prepare for a double crochet, go into this first shell with another shell. So we're going to do 3 double crochet. That's 1, 2, and then 3. Once we have that, we're going to chain out 2, prepare for a double crochet, put 3 more double crochet into the same gap, and then now is where our increase comes in, just like how we started. So in the previous row, we have a chain of 1 in between everything that we have. So we're going to do a chain of 2, prepare for a double crochet, put 1 double crochet into this loop. And then once we've double crocheted into that double crochet row, we're going to chain out another 2, put a shell into this shell gap. So let's do this together again. So there's 1 double crochet, 2, 3, chain out 2, and 3 more double crochet into this same shell gap. So here's 1, 2, and 3. And then once we have that, we're going to do this increase together one more time. We're going to chain out 2, prepare for a double crochet into this double crochet loop, chain out another 2, and then do our next shell. And then you guys are going to continue to do this until the shells reach the tip of your shoulder. And with the previous row, so from this first row of double crochet down to this row, I actually have the length that I need. I just showed you guys how to do this row so that you guys knew how to continue to increase. But once when we have that length, we're going to go in with a row of chains going straight across, and I will show you guys how to do that right now. I have just taken apart everything that I just showed you guys because I don't need that extra row, but if you guys have more rows, that is totally fine. But once when you guys get to the tip of your shoulders, we're going to do a chain that goes straight across our work so that we can actually attach the body portion to this chest piece that we have. So what we're going to do is chain up 3. This counts as a double crochet, and then we're going to continue with the increases that we have. So for me, this is going to be different for everyone, but for me, I'm going to take a look and see how many loops I have. So we had this chain 1 in between. So we have 1, and then we're going to count these 3 double crochet loops that we have as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to do a chain out of 4 plus 1 extra because we are still going to do our increases. So I'm going to chain out 5 on top of this chain 3 that we already have. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then once when we have that, we are going to do a single crochet into this shell gap. So here's 1 single crochet just to connect it. And then we're going to do the same thing and then do a double crochet into this double crochet loop. So like I said before, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 available loops here. So I'm going to add 1 more for the chain that we're about to do. So I'm going to do a chain up of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then once when I have my chain, I'm going to prepare for a double crochet, insert my double crochet into this double crochet loop that we have been going into with another double crochet. Let's do this one more time together. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 loops here, so I'm going to add an extra for the chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are going to single crochet into this shell gap. And then once we have that, we're going to do another chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Prepare for a double crochet into this double crochet loop. And that is our pattern that we're going to do once when we are ready to connect it to the body portion. So go ahead and do this all the way around. I will show you guys how to connect it, and then we're going to do the body portion after that. Now that we are all finished up with our row of chains, we're going to connect it just like how we've been connecting it. So what we're going to do is count up 3 chains, 1, 2, 3. Into that third, we're going to do a slip stitch, but I am going to be switching up my colors one last time. So we're going to yarn over, pull through just one loop, grab our next color, insert that onto our hook, pull through, cut the original color, and then tie the tail ends together. Once we have this, the last row that we're going to do before we start doing the body portion of the sweater is just do a row of single crochet around the entire bit of chains that we just did. So this is going to be super simple. We're going to insert our hook into this first loop, and we're going to go in with a simple single crochet. And since the chain row that we just did was an increase row, we don't need to do anything fancy, no increases, no decreases. We're just going to go into every loop with one single crochet. Once we make it all the way around, we're going to connect with a slip stitch, switch out our colors again, and then we will go from there. We've made our way all the way around with our row of single crochet, and now what we're going to do is just connect it into the first single crochet that we did with a slip stitch, cut, and then we're going to start working on the body portion. So since we are here with our row of single crochet, as you guys can see, this is our first single crochet that we did. We're going to insert our hook, we're going to yarn over, pull through everything on the hook. So pull through this guy and pull through this guy. And then once when we get here, we're going to chain up one and cut. This is what we should have once when we are all finished up doing our chest piece that we were just working on. And as you can see, I have folded mine in half, putting the seam or every place where we did our slip stitches on this top corner so that you can't really see it. And then once we get here, we're also going to want to put this on and then put in our stitch markers because we're going to start working on the body portion. We're going to do the sleeves in later. But the place where you guys want to put in your stitch markers is right where your underarm is, because obviously we need to add in the sleeves later. But go ahead and mark those off. And then just to let you guys know, from one side, I measured straight across this way. I have a total of 13 inches or 33 centimeters. And then you're also going to want to measure out and see how long you want your body portion to be. I'm going to make mine 10 inches because we are going to have a bottom band as well. But once when we have all of that information, we can get started on the body portion. And then also really quickly, before we get started doing the body portion, I am also switching out my hook to a 7mm hook. This is optional. I'm just switching it out for a bigger hook so that the body portion won't be as tight, so the stitches can flow just a little bit more. But now we can get started with the body portion. We are now all ready to get started on the body portion. So what we're going to do is take out one of the corners of our stitch marker. We're going to insert our 7mm hook. This is optional. You guys can continue to use your 5mm hook if you guys want. But we're going to insert our hook right where our stitch marker was. We're going to take the body portion, or the body color that we're going to do, insert that onto our hook. We're going to pull this through, and then we're going to start off by making a chain that is the length that we want our sweater to be, minus a few inches because we will be adding a bottom border. And like I said, mine is going to be 10 inches or 25 centimeters, but go ahead and make that chain. I'll meet you guys back when we have that all finished. Now that we have the chain for the body portion, now we're going to go in with our first row of double crochets for the body. What we're going to do is block off that last chain. We're going to do a chain up of 3, prepare for a double crochet, and then into that loop that we blocked off, or the 4th chain from the hook, we're going to go in with a double crochet. And then we're going to prepare for another double crochet and go into every chain that we have, putting just one double crochet, going back towards the chest detail that we just made, and then we're going to connect with a slip stitch, but I will show you guys how to connect it once when we get there. We have double crocheted all the way down our chain, and what we're going to do is connect it to the base with a slip stitch. And before we connect it to the base, we're going to want to make sure that we're working towards the other stitch marker that we have. So if we take a look this way, our stitch marker is right here. We're going to want to be working into this portion because this is where the body is going to be. But once when we have that, since we just did our double crochet row, we're going to count out 2 loops, not including this loop that we are currently in. We're going to count up 1 and 2, insert our hook into that second loop with a slip stitch. So we're going to yarn over, pull through everything on the hook. And now it's all attached. We're going to do this again in order to work our way up to the next row. So we're going to slip stitch up the next 2 loops. So here is 1 and here is 2. Once we have that, we've worked our way up to the next row, so we can flip our work now. We're going to prepare for a double crochet, and then for the body portion we're going to be going into the back loops because we want some ribbing. So into this first back loop we're going to insert our hook and do a double crochet. Let's do this one more time. Prepare for a double crochet, go into this back loop with a double crochet, and we're going to continue to do this all the way down. When we get to the end, we're going to chain up 3 and work our way back with more back loop double crochets, and then I'll meet you guys back once we get to the base so I can show you guys how to attach it just one more time. We are now at the end of our row where we meet our base, and we're just going to connect it one more time just to show you guys. So we have double crocheted into the very last loop, and what we're going to do from here is count up 2 loops. Here's 1 and 2. Insert your hook into that second with a slip stitch, and that's how we connect that row, and then the next one we're going to slip stitch up the next 2. So we're going to slip stitch up 1 and 2, and from here it's going to be the exact same thing. Flip our work, prepare for a double crochet, and then go in with back loop double crochets, and we're going to keep doing this pattern all the way until we reach the other stitch marker that we have, and then we're going to do the same thing for the back portion, but I'll show you guys how to do that one more time when we get there. So go ahead and do this part, and then I'll meet you guys back. This is what I have when I have finished up doing my bottom portion for the body only on one side, and what we're going to do from here is actually try this on again, and then let me flip this over, and then we're going to put in some stitch markers in the back for the same exact spot but for the back side, because we don't want anything to be uneven, and then we're going to go in and do the exact same thing. So we're going to pick one of the loops. We're going to start off by making a chain that is the same length as the chain that we have in front. We're going to go in with a row of double crochet. Once we make it to the base, we're going to count up 2 loops, slip stitch into that second loop, and then we're going to slip stitch up another 2 loops in order to work our way up to the next row, and then do back loop double crochets back. So it's exactly the same as we did the front side, and then we're going to do that all the way down, and then once we make it to the end over here we're going to cut and tie, and then we're going to start working on the little side panels that we're going to have. So go ahead and do that, and then I will meet you guys back once we have all of this done. As you guys can see, we've been a little busy. We have actually finished up doing our front panel and our back panel. They are exactly the same. And next, I told you that we were going to cut and tie. Next, we're going to start working on this super itty bitty side panel that we're going to do that's going to fit right underneath our underarm. We're going to take a look at this side panel that I have on this one side first, because I've already done one side so I can show you guys, but it's basically just the same thing. A row of back loop double crochets, but it doesn't reach all the way to the top because we still need some space for your arm. And so I went ahead and measured out where I needed this to end. So I put this on, and then I measured out from the base, which is this guy right here, all the way down to where I need this to start, and I have a total of 2 inches or 5 centimeters. So what we're going to do from here, we're going to do this next one together. We're going to insert our hook into this bottom corner, making sure that we're going in through whatever loop we have to go into. So this is a back loop. We're going to insert our yarn onto our hook. We're going to pull through, chain up 3. This counts as a double crochet, and then from here we're going to prepare for a double crochet, and then we're going to go in putting 1 double crochet into every back loop, going all the way down until we reach that 2-inch mark or 5 centimeters, however you're measuring it. And I already have mine marked off, so I'm going to keep going until I get to this marker. I'm going to cut and tie, and then we're going to be doing this for all of the sides that we have, so do this 3 more times. Now that we have our side panels all finished up on one side, as you can see, here's one on one side, here's one on the other. Now we're going to connect it using a row of single crochet. So this part is going to be fairly easy. We're just going to take our 2 sides and we're going to sandwich them together. We're going to take our hook, insert it into this first corner loop, and then also into the second corner loop that we have for this back panel. We're going to grab our yarn and make a slip knot. We're going to insert that onto our hook, and then when we're right here, we're going to pull through, chain up 1 to secure. And from here, we're going to go down with a row of single crochet, making sure we're going through the front panel and the back panel at the same time so it can all close up. So how we do that is we're going to insert our hook into the next available loop in this front panel. We're going to take a look at this back panel, insert our hook into the next available loop in that guy, and then we're going to single crochet. Let's do this a couple more times together. So into the next loop of this front panel, and then into the next loop of this back panel, single crochet. And we're going to keep doing this all the way down until we can't go down anymore, until we get to the edge of this row, and then we're going to cut and tie. And then if you guys already have your other side done, you can go ahead and do that on your other side as well. Now that we have our side panels all attached, next we're going to go in with a row of single crochet, but only along the bottom of this arm portion, just so that it's easier to go in with our sleeve next. So how we're going to do that is we're going to insert our hook into this first loop that we have that's connected to the body portion to the base, and we're going to go into that same loop that already has something in there. And we're doing that just so that it can be a little bit more seamless when we finally go in with the sleeve. Once we have that, we're going to pull this through. We're going to chain up one to secure. And from here, we're going to go in, putting one single crochet into every loop, going all the way around. And then once we reach the base on the other side of the sleeve, we're going to cut and tie. Once we made our way all the way around the bottom with our row of single crochet, now we can start working on the sleeve. And the sleeve is basically going to be the same thing as the body portion. We're going to try this on, and we're going to measure out and see how long we want our sleeve to be, minus a few inches because we are going to add a cuff at the bottom as well. But I went ahead and measured out the length that I wanted, and I am going to make a chain of 14 inches or 36 centimeters. So I'm just going to show you guys where I start, and then the rest is going to be exactly the same, so I'll let you guys have at it from there. But I'm just going to insert my hook into one of these bottom single crochet loops. It doesn't matter which one, just try to get it as centered as possible so that when we connect everything, our seam is on the bottom. But I'm just going to insert my hook, insert my yarn onto my hook, pull through, and I'm going to start off by making my chain. Like I said, mine is 14 inches or 36 centimeters. And then once we make it to the end, we are going to chain up 3, double crochet all the way back down, and then we're going to connect to the base just like how we've been doing for the body. So we're going to count up 2 loops, slip stitch into that second loop, and then we're going to slip stitch up the next 2 loops in order to work our way up to the next row, and then do back loop double crochets all the way back down. And then we're going to keep doing that, going back and forth until we make it all the way around and we don't have any more loops to go into. And then we are going to connect with a row of single crochet like how we did this piece, but I'll meet you guys back when we get there. So go ahead, have at it, and I will meet you guys back. We have just finished up going all the way around with our sleeve, and like I said before, it was just rows of back loop double crochets connecting into the base the same way that we did the body portion. And we kept going until we didn't have any more loops at the bottom, and now we're going to connect it by doing a row of single crochet that goes in through both the front and the back panel of the sleeve. And once we make it to the end, now we can start working on the cuff portion, but I'll show you guys how to connect it again. But this is also like how we connected the side portion as well. We are now taking a look at our sleeve, and we're going to connect it like I said. And just a really quick reminder, it doesn't matter whether if you guys end here where the underarm is or down here where the wrist is, it's going to be the same no matter what. But all we're going to do is insert our hook into this first available loop that we have into this front panel, and then into the next available loop that we have into the back panel. And then all we're going to do is single crochet the 2 panels together. And this is exactly the same way that we did the sides. So let's do this again. Into the next loop, insert your hook, into the next loop, into the back panel, insert your hook, and single crochet. And I know that you guys already have this, so go ahead and do this all the way down. And then if you are switching out your colors like I am, go ahead and cut and tie. If not, then don't, and then I'll meet you guys back. We have now connected all the way down our sleeve with a row of single crochet, making sure that the front and the back panel were connected, and now everything is looking pretty good. And we were using our 7mm hook, but we're actually going to switch that back out for our 5mm hook, or whatever recommended hook size you have for whatever yarn size that you're using. And then we're going to finish off with the cuff. So now that we have this guy ready, all we're going to do is go in with the row of decreasing single crochet just to go around the cuff because we want this to be tight. So I'm going to insert my hook into where this first side double crochet is. I'm going to make a slip knot, insert that onto my hook, and from here I'm going to pull through and chain up 1 to secure. And then I'm not going to count this as anything, so into the same loop I'm going to be putting another 2 single crochet. So this is 1, and then this is 2, and then like I said, we're going to be decreasing into this row, and since these are side double crochets, you guys know that we always go in with 2 single crochets into each side double crochet, but since we're decreasing, we're going to be going into every other loop with just 1. So since we did 2 single crochet into this first loop, into this next loop we're going to be doing just 1 single crochet. Let's do this a couple more times together. Into this next side double crochet that we have, we're going to insert our hook, and then we're going to be putting 2 single crochet, and then we're going to skip over to this next one. We're going to be going in with 1 single crochet. One more time into this next one, 2 single crochet, and then into the next, just 1. And we're going to keep doing this all the way around to help our sleeve cinch in a little bit, and then we're going to be going in with 1 more row of decrease, and then we're going to work on the cuff portion. So I'll meet you guys back when we are done with this 1 row. We've made our way all the way around with our first row of decreasing single crochet, and we're just going to slip stitch it together in order to close off this gap that we have. So all we're going to do is find this first loop, insert our hook, and then pull through everything on the hook. And then when we have this is going to be up to you. This doesn't cinch in quite enough for me. I want this to cinch in just a little bit more, but if your first row is perfect for you, then go ahead and stop it right here. But since I'm going to be doing 1 more, we're going to be doing that together. All I'm going to do is chain up 1, and then into the next 9 loops we're going to be putting just 1 single crochet into each. So let's do this together. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then into the 10th we are going to be doing a decrease. So what that is inserting our hook into the next loop, yarn over, pull through, and then inserting our hook into the loop after that, pull through, and then we're going to yarn over, pull through everything on the hook. So we're going to be decreasing into the 10th. We're going to do this together just 1 more time. So into the next 9 we're going to be putting 1 single crochet. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 and a half, 6, 7, 8, and then 9 is our last one, and then we're going to be doing in decrease. So into this next loop, insert, yarn over, pull through, into the next loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And if you guys are decreasing with me, go ahead and do this all the way around. Once we make it to the end, cut and tie, and then we will be switching out our colors. If you're switching out your colors, go ahead and cut and tie, but I'm going to switch them out, so I'll meet you guys back when we get there, and then we'll work on the cuff. Now that we have made it all the way around and cut and tied, now I'm just going to be going in with a row of single crochet, a regular row of single crochet, all the way around just to give our cuff a little bit extra something. So all we're going to do is take our same 5mm hook, insert it into any one of these loops, insert our next color yarn, if you guys are switching it out, onto our hook, pull through, and this is going to be extremely regular. We're going to be going in, putting 1 single crochet into every loop. Once we make it to the end, we're going to slip stitch it together, and then we're going to start working on our cuff from there. We've made our way all the way around with our first row of our cuff color, and now we're going to start working on the cuff. But you're going to want to try this on and figure out the length that you guys want your cuff to be. If you guys want this to be longer or shorter, that is all dependent on you guys. But I've already measured mine out, and I'm going to make a chain that comes out to 5.5 inches or 14 centimeters, because that's the length that I want my cuff to be. I now have my chain length, and what we're going to do is go in with a row of slip stitches. So we're first going to block off this last chain that we did. We're going to chain up 1, and then into this chain that we blocked off, or the second chain from the hook, we're going to go in with a slip stitch. So all that is inserting your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through everything that's on the hook. Let's do this 1 more time together. Into this next loop, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through everything on the hook. And then we're going to continue doing these slip stitches all the way down. Once we get to the base, we're going to connect it to the base with another slip stitch and then keep going from there. So I'll meet you guys back once we get there. This is our first row of slip stitches going down the chain that we just made. And we are finally at the base, and we're going to connect it with a slip stitch, kind of like the way that we've been doing the sleeve or the body portion, but a little different because they're smaller. So what we're going to do is take a look at the base, and then we're going to insert our hook into the next available loop. So we're not going to go into this guy because this is where our chain is in. We're going to insert our hook into the next loop with a slip stitch, and then once we have that, we're going to slip stitch up just one loop in order to work our way up to the next row. We're going to flip our work, and then we're going to be going in with back loop slip stitches. This is going to give us more ribbing, but different than the double crochet one that we've been doing for the entire body so far. So what we're going to do is insert our hook into this first back loop, and we're going to yarn over, pull through everything on the hook, and then this is going to give us ribbing that looks like this. Kind of looks like you knit it, but you didn't. So let's keep doing this for a little bit together, just so we get the hang of it. We're going to insert our hook into this next back loop, yarn over, pull through everything, into the next back loop, yarn over, pull through everything. And we are going to continue to do this until we reach the end. We're going to chain up one and then continue doing back loop slip stitches. And then once we get to the base, we're going to connect it with more slip stitches, but I'll meet you guys back just one more time so we can go over it together. We are now all the way back down to the base with our next row of back loop slip stitches. And we are going to, oh wait, we have one more back loop. There we go. And now we're going to connect it into the base. So just one more time into this next available loop, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through everything. That is a slip stitch. And then just to work our way up to the next row, we're going to do one more slip stitch into the next loop. So we're going to insert, yarn over, pull through everything, flip our work, and then go in with a row of back loop slip stitches and continue to do this all the way around. And then when we don't have any more loops to go into, we're going to connect them together, and I'll meet you guys back so we can connect it together. This is what we have when we've made it all the way around with our back loop slip stitches, and we have no more loops to go into. We've made it to the other side, and what we're going to do is single crochet it together, just like how we've connected everything together so far. So we'll just go through this super quickly. We're going to insert our hook into the next available loop. Yeah, and then we're going to go into the next available loop on the back panel or the other side, and then single crochet. Let's do this one more time. Into the next available loop here, and then into the next available loop on the other side, and single crochet. And then we're going to keep doing this all the way down, and then when we have that, we're going to cut and tie, because we're actually all done with this sleeve, and then I already have my other sleeve already finished. But go ahead and do the exact same thing that we did on this side, but on the other side. And then I'll meet you guys back so that we can finish this up by doing the bottom border. And yeah, I'll meet you guys back. We have now finished up doing both of our sleeves, and like I said, the next thing that we have to do is just do a little bottom border along the bottom of the body portion. And the bottom border is actually going to be the exact same thing as we did for the sleeve. So I'm going to be switching the colors, and it's going to match the cuff. So all I'm going to do is go in with a row of decreases, sorry, I couldn't remember the name, of decreases, another row of decreases, and then I'm going to do the same type of cuff, which is back loop slip stitches for the bottom border. So let's get started on the decrease. We are grabbing the bottom of the body portion so that we can get started on the bottom border, and if you guys want to leave it flowy like this, go ahead, you are more than welcome, but I want mine to be a little bit more cinched in. So what we are going to do is we're going to insert our hook into any one of these side double crochets. It really doesn't matter because we're going to be coming all the way around anyways, but we're going to insert our hook into any one of these side double crochets, insert our next color, we're going to pull through, and then we're going to chain up one to secure. And then once we have that, we're not going to count this first chain, but we're going to go into that same side double crochet loop that we're in with 2 double crochet. So there's 1, and then there's 2. And once we have that, we're going to go into the next side double crochet loop with just one single crochet exactly the same way that we did the cuff, if I can get this. There we go. And then into the one after this, we're going to be going in with 2 single crochet. And we're going to keep doing this all the way around, and then once we make it to the end, we are going to slip stitch this row together, and then we're going to chain up 1. And then for this next row, we're going to do another row of decrease. So single crochet into the first 9 loops, and then decrease into the 10th, just like how we did for the cuff. And then I'll meet you guys back once we have that done. We have just finished up doing the first few rows of our bottom border, and next we're going to do the same thing that we did for the sleeve. We already have our first row of decrease into all these side double crochets, which was 2 single crochet into one side double crochet, 1 single crochet into the next, and then we kept alternating like that. And then we went in with our second row of single crochet where we decreased into the 10th and then did that all the way around. And then now we're about ready to go in with our regular row of our border color, but if you guys aren't switching out your colors, then you guys don't need to do this one. This row is optional, but since I am, we are going to do it anyways. But this is going to be super simple. So all I'm going to do is insert my hook into any one of the loops, it doesn't matter which one, make a slip knot, insert that onto my hook, and from here we're going to chain up 1. And then all we're going to do is put 1 single crochet into every loop, going back all the way around. Once we make it to the end, we're going to slip stitch into this first single crochet that we made, but don't cut and tie because we are going to start doing our cuff right after that, or bottom border, but it's going to be the same thing. So I'll meet you guys back. We've made it all the way around with our row of single crochet where we didn't do any decreases. And now we're going to start working on the bottom band, which is the exact same thing as the cuff. All you guys have to figure out from here is to see how long you guys want your bottom band to be. I've already measured mine out, and I would like for mine to be 4 inches or 10 centimeters, depending on where you're at. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by making that chain. Once when we have that chain, what we're going to do from here is block off that last chain that we just did. We're going to chain up 1 extra, and then we're going to insert our hook into that chain that we blocked off, or the second chain from the hook, with a slip stitch, if I can. There we go. And then a slip stitch is just insert it into the loop, yarn over, pull through everything that's on the hook. Let's do this again one more time. Into the next loop, yarn over, pull through everything. And then we're going to keep doing this all the way down, and we're going to slip stitch into the next available loop once we get into the base. And in order to work our way up to the next row, we're going to slip stitch just 1 loop up, and then we're going to go in with back loop slip stitches and keep doing that all the way around until we make it to the other side where we don't have any more loops, and then we are going to put it together with a row of single crochet. So go ahead and do that, and then I'll meet you guys back when we are almost done. Okay, this was a doozy, but we finally made it all the way around doing our back loop slip stitches, and we don't have any more loops in between our first section and our last, or just the beginning and the end. And the last thing that we have to do is just single crochet together, and this is the exact same way that we've been single crocheting everything else together. So we're just going to do it really quickly because I'm sure you guys already know what you're doing. But a really quick tip that I have is just make sure that wherever the seam is on this side, since we're folding it over this side, the seam is obviously going to be facing out. Just make sure that it's the rest of the sweater is facing out as well. Make sure that the seams are facing out so that when you flip it inside out, all of the seams are matching each other. But I'm sure that you guys already knew that, but just a really quick tip. But once we are ready, what we're going to do is insert our hook into this first available loop. Insert our hook into the next available loop on the other side, single crochet. Let's do this one more time. Insert our hook into the next available loop in the front, next available loop in the back, single crochet. And then we're going to keep doing this all the way down. Once when we get to the end, we're going to cut and tie. We have just finished up attaching our bottom band with a row of single crochet, and we are all done now. The last thing that we have to do is just weave in all of our ends. We have woven in our ends, and this is our finished piece. As you guys can tell, this sweater is vintage inspired, but also took from our crochet cutout turtleneck that I adore. I have so many ideas for different colors that I'd love to make the sweater in. Now I just gotta find the time. But let me know what colors you'd like the sweater in, and if you plan on making this, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It's right beneath the video. It lets YouTube and I know you're enjoying the videos, and it goes a really long way with helping the channel grow and gain some traction. But if you didn't like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs down, but be sure to leave me a comment letting me know why you didn't like it, or if you have any questions, requests, or if y'all just want to say what's up. I usually reply pretty quick. If you love it, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It's right beneath the video. It'll let you know when there's a new video uploaded to the channel, get you a bit more priority when it comes to requests, and it goes a really long way with helping the channel grow so I can keep making all these great videos for you guys. And if you're already subscribed, huge thanks to you guys, but please hit that notification bell to know when there's a new upload for you right away, and please share with your crafty friends, or any friends. Every bit helps. Links to the yarn and the hooks will be in the description. If you buy something using those links, that also goes towards helping out the channel. Lastly, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest links are down there as well. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one.